Welcome to My Daybu with Luciana Collins, the show that gives you your day to be you. Tune in every week to connect with business owners and community leaders who will share valuable tips and advice while showcasing their business. Hi, I'm Luciana Collins, and thank you for tuning into My Daybu, the show that helps you have your day to be you. Today, we have Hollywood hairstylist Tiffany Clarice, the official hair and makeup of Let's Do TV. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for being here today.
Hello, Luciana, and thank you for having me.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad you had time to join us today. I know you have a busy schedule, but we do want to talk to you today about image and styling and how to make someone look, this good.
Yes, I definitely can help you do that.
Well, thank you. So can you tell us how did you get started with doing hair, and how long have you been a hairstylist?
Well, Luciana, I've always had a passion for hair. I was that kid when I was a baby girl, playing with the dolls, doing something different to their hair. And by the time I became, 10 or 12, I actually started to build my clientele. And so I've been in the business for a while. I'm 26 now, so it's been a good 15, 16 years, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Okay, well, great. Did you go to a certain school or institution that, gave you that extra skill?
Yes, I definitely went to a college and got my licensure for my, certification and be licensed through the state with cosmetology. I've been licensed now for about 5 years, and it was one of the best things I could have ever done. To me, hairstylist, being a cosmetologist is one of the most rewarding careers.
Okay, so how long have you been doing hair here in the Charlotte area?
Well, I've been here almost 3 years so far.
Okay, so you're not originally from here?
No, I'm originally from Michigan.
Okay, Michigan.
Yes,
okay,
but I want to bring Hollywood hair to Charlotte.
Okay, we need that, because you come from a cold state. We
Yes.
kind of wear our hair all year long. We don't need them hats, because I know in Michigan you get a lot of snow.
It gets cold, honey. We wear our hair as hats there.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, down here in the South, we styling. As you already know, we styling every day. Only thing we may need is a little umbrella.
Right.
Okay.
I'm loving the South.
Well, that's good. I believe that the South loves you too.
Well, thank you.
Okay, all right. So what do you specialize in?
Well, my aim is to have every client with a healthy head of, beautiful natural hair, and at the same time giving you a Hollywood protective style.
Okay, all right, Hollywood protective styles.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so we see Hollywood. There's not that many people that's protecting anything in Hollywood.
Right.
So can you elaborate on what a protective style is?
Sure. Well, you have the natural clients that, don't like to do the weaves. So you could do a nice braid up style, or the twist outs that everyone are doing. Maybe even the crochet braiding. That's a good protective style. And then another look, if you want to go more Hollywood and more glamorous, you could do the, long weaves, or maybe even a short cut. Just something that would allow your hair to get its, rest and replenish its moisture while being braided down.
Okay, so you do the protective style.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that word protective.
Okay.
Because now, everyone is going natural. I don't want no chemicals in my hair.
Right.
I don't want to relaxer. No, we've been getting relaxers since
all our lives.
You're either going to get a relaxer or a hot comb. Which one you going to do to make it straight?
Exactly.
So, being that now natural seems like it's the new thing to do, what can you give us some tips on, or some pros and cons on what it is to be natural? Because when I talk to people about natural hair and things of that nature, they seem to think that natural hair is easy. So what do you think?
Well, natural hair, whether it's chemically processed or whether you have a natural head of hair, you always want to keep your hair on a regimen. You want to get it on a type of schedule or a program to train it so that it does what you want it to. It'll be less maintenance for you. So by doing that, you would need to come in the salon every 2 weeks to have it professionally treated, doing deep moisturizing treatments, protein treatments to make sure that hair is nice and strong, to protect it against the elements of the sun or the heat. And then as well, taking in the right amount of nutrients, you know, taking vitamins, the hair, skin, and nail vitamins, drinking a lot of water, because that plays a big part in how moisturized your hair looks, you know, the sheen and that nice natural shine that you see someone, you know, with a healthy head of hair. And then it also takes care of the scalp too. If you have any dandruff, drinking water and eating fruits on a regular basis would definitely help you to have a, you know, healthy scalp where your hair can have a healthy environment to grow.
Okay, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yes,
you know.
Small little tidbits go a long way.
Okay, great. So now when you do go from natural, say you have a relaxer and you decide to go natural, what is the best way to transform? Because a lot of people, some people cut their hair out, you know, and start completely over, and some people already have a nice length of hair and they don't necessarily want to cut it all off. So how would you suggest that a person transition from a relaxed hair to natural?
Okay, well, we call that a transitioning phase. So when you're in that transitioning phase, not using any relaxers anymore, you, like I said, you have to have it professionally treated on a regular basis, and then we would, you know, come in and we would find out, we would, you know, take a glimpse of your hair and see what your hair really needs.
Okay.
The roots of your hair, when going natural, they'll be a lot heavier. So, you know, it'll be fuller and it'll be thicker, but those ends, on the, you know, the ends of your hair that has been chemically treated, whether color or relaxer, they tend to be a little bit more drier, they're more brittle, and because the hair at the root is so heavy, they have a tendency to break.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the deep moisturizing treatments come in. Those deep, those protein treatments, if you remember, you know, back in the day, our mothers used to use mayonnaise and do those egg shots in our hair. Well, that's because it's full of protein.
Okay.
So you definitely just need something to plump up that hair strand, make it nice and strong, so that during the transition phase, you can, you know, gradually trim the ends. When you're natural, you still want to keep your ends clipped every 6 to 8 weeks. And what that does is it maintains the length of your hair because the ends aren't breaking off. So while that hair is growing from the roots, you still have that, you know, nice healthy appearance from root to end.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
But you don't have to do the big chop. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Not unless you just want something bold and daring. You know, you're at that point in your life, hey, I want to switch it all the way up. I've seen some good looks come out of that big chop.
Okay, all right, well,
Yes.
great, well, great. So that means that, you know, if I did decide to go natural and go back to the roots and berries,
Yes.
you know, I don't have to cut all my hair off.
No.
I can just go into a different, you know, phase and transition and do some different, more natural things to let the relaxer grow out.
Right. Organic products are really good.
Okay.
And everyone, you know, as we know, we're going into the sulfate-free products, the sulfate-free
Okay.
shampoos and conditioners, not to dry your hair out. We want our natural oils to replenish the moisture in our hair and scalp.
Okay. All right. Well, that's great. That's great. I'm so glad you're able to provide us with all this valuable information, because, you know, that natural thing is a natural way to go nowadays, you know. And I'm sure a lot of people, you know, want to know more about that.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad. And I'd like to tell you to stay tuned. And we'll be right back after commercial break with my debut and Tiffany Clarice.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Clarice, Charlotte's very own Hollywood hairstylist. I specialize in healthy hair, whether relaxed, natural, or in a protective style, while giving you a Hollywood glamour look. Services include healthy blowout technique, braids, all weaving technique, custom wig units, and more at affordable prices. Stop by 4936 Albemarle Road, Suite 11, or call 704-287-2141. For visual images, check out Instagram under Tiffany Clarice. Rain. Hollywood Hair by Tiffany Clarice. Why look like the rest when you can look your best?
Looking for a professional painter and drywall contractor? Then look no more. Colores is licensed and insured and will make sure your home is beautiful, whether you want the whole house painted on the outside or just 2 rooms inside. No job is too big or small. Contact Colores Painting at 704-320-5736. That's 704-320-5736.
My name is Cynthia Knight, Director of Castle's Daycare Academy, here in Charlotte, North Carolina for more than 28 years, preparing children to be successful as they further their education. I have developed a curriculum entitled Achievement Rocks. It inhabits purposeful learning that encourages feelings of achievement in all children. Learning is fun. If you want your child to get an outstanding education while having fun prior to entering the school system, go to achievementrocks.com or call 704-563-7112 because brilliance is at work in the mind of a child.
Welcome back to My Daybu with Luciana Collins. And here we have Hollywood hairstylist Tiffany Clarice, and she's going to share some pointers on us about hair weaving extensions. Okay, Tiffany, I just want to ask you a few questions about hair weaving. You know, that's a real popular thing now. Everyone's, or mostly everyone has a hair weave, including myself, which I absolutely love. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, one question I want to know is, and a few of my viewers might have as well, is how do you pick the right hair weaving texture? We have Malaysian hair, Brazilian hair, Indian, Russian, Brazilian. It's all these different kind of hair textures, and you really don't know how to pick the right one for you. Can you give us some pointers on that?
Yes, well, first off, Luciana, you have to know what texture your hair is. Whether it's fine to medium to normal texture, or if you have extremely coarse, thick hair. So myself today, I'm wearing the Peruvian blend by my own hair brand, hairbytiff.maven.com. I'll give you the information. The link will be in my bio.
Okay, great.
But you would really want to find out what your hair texture is first, and then pick a hair texture of the weave that matches yours or that's similar. So most African American women, we tried the Brazilian brand because it's more, thicker, it's coarser, it still gives you body. Or for a Caucasian client, you might want to go with the Malaysian, because if you notice that Asian hair, their hair tends to be more straighter. It doesn't really have a lot of, texture to it, not a lot of waves and curls, but it's definitely nice and sleek. So a Caucasian client might want to go with a Malaysian or a Russian blend to match better with their hair texture.
Okay, so if I want to get a weave or hair extension, I should go to my stylist first and ask them to look at the texture of my hair before ordering, because nowadays most of the different brands of hair you can order online, and you really don't know what you get until you get it. So is that the smart thing to do? Go to your stylist first?
Yes, you definitely want to have a professional tell you what grade your hair is, and chemically relaxed hair, it normally gives you a finer texture as well. So you definitely want to make sure before buying it, because you don't want it to ever be too heavy where it breaks off your natural hair.
Okay, okay, all right, great. So what are the latest trends and techniques on adding hair to your hair weave extensions? What are the latest techniques?
Okay, well, I'll go over 3 and then I'll elaborate.
Okay.
So the first one would be just the natural weaving that mostly everyone does with the braids. You can either do it where you have minimal leave out with a part. That's what I'm wearing today. Or you can have a full sew-in where you're not, showing any of your hair. It's totally covered and totally protected. And then what you're wearing today is the braidless technique, where your hair is actually left out in between, and then the hair is added through with micro-link beads, which, it has a silicone end base, so it totally protects your hair. It's not gonna break, but it gives you that more natural look that most of my clients love. And the third technique would be the custom wigs and weaving units. I call it the 30-minute express technique. Normally a client would drop her hair off maybe the day before or the same day, because I do a 12 to 24 hour turnaround. So what you do is just drop your hair off. I create a wig, a custom wig or a custom unit that fits your lifestyle. You come back, I braid your hair down, and I can actually install it within 30 minutes.
Okay.
So it's a quick, easy hairstyle. When you're finished with that look, you can take it off, after a couple weeks, and you will have a unit actually already made. So on those days where you don't feel like doing anything to your hair, maybe you missed your salon appointment, you can just throw on that custom unit and go out the door.
Okay, so is that technique the quick weave? Is that what that is? Is that considered
No,
a quick
actually
weave?
that's not the quick weave
Okay,
method.
okay,
No.
okay.
But wigs can actually be made with the glue, but this is solely with the sewing technique.
Oh, okay, so it's different than the quick weave.
It's a lot more durable. It's really easy and affordable in your pockets. So it's the best method, especially if you want to be able to treat your natural hair, shampoo it on a regular basis, but still be able to transfer back in between your natural look and your Hollywood look. A custom weave unit definitely works for corporate clients. On the weekend, you might want to do something special. You might have a hot date, want to jazz it up a little bit. You just have a custom unit and it looks like a sewing. You can't even tell that it's not your hair or that, it's a wig. We don't want that wiggy look. We want it to be nice and natural.
Okay. So we have the braids.
Yes.
The braidless.
Yes.
The custom wig. The custom wig.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And when you say braid, what do you mean by braid?
So what I do is I braid your hair down into a nice solid pattern. The braids aren't so tight where they're gonna break your hair off.
Okay.
But because we're not wearing those braids, and that's my pet peeve. You don't ever want your weave to be so tight that it causes damage to your natural hair, because then it's no longer a protective style.
Okay.
What I do is I find a pattern that fits your style the best. It takes me about 20 minutes to braid it down, and that is the foundation of your sewing. So it's the most important part. If you have a bad braid down, your sewing will be all wrong. So you want something that's nice and flat, and that it's gonna look the most natural, where you'll be able to pull it up and style it any way you want to.
Okay. And we have the braidless.
Yes.
That.
That's with the microlink beads. I use a tool to connect that microlink to the base of your hair, and that creates a foundation where I sew the tracks to. Your hair is left out all in between. You don't have to be natural. You don't have to have a relaxer. It can be for anyone. So that goes back to our textures. That will be the style that you have to choose the right texture for your hair. If you want that wet and wavy look, maybe your hair is already curly and you just want to add more length to it, we could definitely grab you do the braidless technique, grab you some bundles that match your natural curly or wavy pattern, attach that, hey, you're good to go for at least 2 or 3 months. That's the most long-lasting technique.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And when we get a new set of hair.
Yes.
We get a new set of hair, we want some color added to it.
Exactly.
But sometimes people wear color, and I don't think that's the right color for them.
Exactly. Yes.
So what can you tell us about picking the right hair color or tint to add to your hair extension?
Well, you definitely want to do something with China that's going to fit with your lifestyle.
Okay.
You don't want that fire red engine hair, that fire truck red hair that you walk into the office, all of your co-workers are surprised, they can't even recognize you. No, we definitely don't want to do that. Not for our corporate client. We would prefer something that's more fitting to your lifestyle. So first things first, it has to be fitting to your lifestyle. Secondly, it has to be, something that complements your complexion.
Okay.
Normally what we do to recognize the natural color of a client's hair, we look at their eye color. So if that person has a darker eye color, then 9 times out of 10 they might have a brown to jet black natural hair color. But if they have bright green eyes, hazel eyes, we know that they're probably going to be in that same brown phase. If a client has blue eyes, then we know that's going to be our blonde clients.
Okay.
So you definitely want to look at the eye color and your skin tone. If you're more tan or if you have red, more cooler tones, you definitely want to play on those because you don't want anything that's going to drown you out.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for those tips.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay. And stay tuned, and we'll have more with Tiffany Clarice while she's having her debut.
Have you heard that the wireless industry earns billions of dollars every year? That's right, billions of dollars every year. Start your own cell phone wireless business with no money. No money. One of our favorite plans includes a free cell phone with no credit check and no contract. PaidToTalk.net is looking for serious business partners to tap into the market. Go to www.paidtotalk.net today. That's www.paidtotalk.net or call 803-448-5584.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Clarice, Charlotte's very own Hollywood hairstylist. I specialize in healthy hair, whether relaxed, natural, or in a protective style, while giving you a Hollywood glamour look. Services include healthy blowout technique, braids, all weaving technique, custom wig units, and more at affordable prices. Stop by 4936 Albemarle Road, Suite 11, or call 704-287-2141. For visual images, check out Instagram under Tiffany Clarice. Rain. Hollywood Hair by Tiffany Clarice. Why look like the rest when you can look your best?
Professional painter and drywall contractor? Then look no more. Colores is licensed and insured and will make sure your home is beautiful whether you want the whole house painted on the outside or just 2 rooms inside. No job is too big or small. Contact Colores Painting at 704-320-5736. That's 704-320-5736.
Hi, I'm Atia Harris with Home Solutions Realty. I would love for you to really think about how much rent you've been wasting if you're renting a townhome, house, or condo. What I would love for you to do is take your rent, times it by 12, then times that by 5, and see how much money has been going out the door. You could have been transferring that money into a brand new home or an existing property, split level ranch with a basement, whatever you like. I would love to assist you in finding your home today and fulfilling all the desires that you want in a house and help you get all the benefits that come along with owning a property. Please give me a call at 704-287-9749. That's Home Solutions Realty, 704-287-9749. Let's get your house today.
Welcome back to My Daybu with Luciana Collins. I am here today with Hollywood hairstylist Tiffany Clarice, and she's going to finish giving us some pointers and details on how to maintain our beautiful looks and image. So I wanted to ask you about the hair weaving and the upkeep, and how do we maintain our beautiful look after we've been through finding the texture, finding the right color. How do we maintain this Hollywood hair and when we do it ourselves?
Well, just as with your natural hair, you don't want to get slack when you have a weave, because you definitely want to keep your scalp at a nice, healthy, and clean environment where the hair can grow. So you want to get, regular shampoos, maybe once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks at the least. And then you would want to use something that has a hydrogen in it. So you're looking for a moisturizing, you want to use macadamia oil, argan oil, because it replenishes that shine and puts that moisture right back into your hair. Deep conditioning treatments are excellent for weaves, especially of weaves with texture.
So in between salon visits, should we shampoo our hair at home?
Well, I would definitely not recommend to shampoo your hair if you have the braided down sewing, because it takes a lot to deal with it. 9 times out of 10, if you can't manage and maintain your natural hair, you're definitely not going to know what to do with the weave. So if you have the braidless technique, you definitely want to use a moisturizing shampoo. If you have color in it, you definitely want to use a color treated shampoo. So again, you have to look at the condition that your hair is in and find those cue words on the bottle of shampoo and conditioner that you're using.
Okay.
Making sure you do a deep moisturizing treatment is especially important when you have your hair out with the weave, because your hair is hanging down, it loses a lot of moisture.
Okay.
So I would definitely say keep up with your shampoo and conditioner though on a regular basis.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Now, one thing I know as a professional lady, we sometimes don't know what hair to wear when we're doing different things. So if you could give us an idea on what kind of hair we should wear to the interview, and hair we should wear once we got the job, and after 5 hair, and also the man trap hair. What kind of hairstyles would you recommend for those 4 occasions?
Well, for the interview, you want to look corporate. Depends on what type of job you're going for. Now, if you're going for a corporate look, you definitely want to do something that's more, of a natural hair color. Blondes, browns, black colors, those are natural colors. If you're going for a hairstylist interview, of course you would want to play up, with the colors and show off your techniques and your skills, but still do it to a minimum. You want to attract the type of clients that you have, whether or not you're, in the corporate or in a more fun, kind of upbeat, trendy field.
Okay.
And then going into the I got the job here, the biggest mistake is when women, as women, sometimes we have that look that is unrecognizable. You don't want to do a look so over the top that, the manager or the HR department doesn't even recognize you on your first day of work. So So I would definitely say to keep that look, maybe, transitioning from your interview to your I got the job look. Then you might can jazz it up, especially if you're wearing weaves, you can do a nice length difference. You don't want to do anything extreme because you don't want somebody saying, oh my gosh, you got 24 inches overnight. No, we want to do it the most natural way. Then as we go on to what was the third one?
The third one was the after 5.
The after 5, hanging out with your girlfriends. Be sexy. It's cool to be flirty. That's the time where you we as women, they say that we don't put on makeup for men. We put on makeup for other women to recognize it because normally a man is not going to recognize, oh, you have pretty eyeshadow. No, but we want to do something that's maybe trendish. That's our time to play with the different colors and flirty styles, to let your hair down or to pull it all the way up and do a nice messy bun. Something classic to coordinate with your outfit.
Okay,
yes.
All right.
And then the fourth one, my favorite, is how to get a man hair.
The man trap.
The man trap hair. So that's the wow factor. You definitely want to do something that's complementing to, your natural complexion. You don't want your man to, be somebody that your hair attracts the type of man that you will have.
Okay.
If you're doing purple and green and blue hair, you're going to attract those brothers that like the purple, blue, and green hair. If you're doing something that's more natural updo, a twist updo, that's sexy, you can go for a nice cut. Men love cuts because it's daring, it says that you're sexy, you know how to have a good time, you like to switch it up. You can go with the long flirtatious hair, something that you have to continuously do the sexy side swipe with because it's so feminine, it's something that they can't do. So a longer, lots of curls, lots of body, so that when your hair moves, it draws attention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So all that plays a difference.
Yes,
So we do different styles for different occasions.
Yes.
And I guess, as a woman, when you're trying to keep up with the trend and do different things, you do need to know how to attract the different kind of audience or different kind of
all attention isn't good attention.
That is true. I do agree with you. Right?
You want the right attention.
You're so absolutely correct about that. Now, how can we get in touch with you? Where are you located and what are your salon hours?
My salon is located at 4936 Albemarle Road. That's Suite 11. The name of my salon is Rain Hollywood Hair by Tiffany Clarice. Wiley like the rest when you can look your best. You can find me on social media at Tiffany Clarice, Tiffany Tiffany, Clarice Clarise, and my phone number is 704-287-2141, 704-287-2141.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on the show today,
Thank
Tiffany.
you so much, Lashana. I had a great time.
Oh, you're welcome. It was my pleasure having you.
I have to come back.
Oh, you will. We'll have you back. We'll have you back. And I would like to thank all my viewers for tuning in to my debut with Luchana Collins. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Tune in every week to learn valuable tips and information on how you too can have your debut.